Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have a little bit of an update. The brackets are finished. So we're going to be getting everything installed in the car here shortly. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of the brackets. I'm still waiting on my machinist to give me the pulley adapter bracket. He's finished it, but we're currently revising a couple of things because of the way that I want them to fit and look. As of right now, I could bolt that bracket on, and this kit's 100% usable. But I'm having an something kind of engraved into the plate, and we're working on some spacers for the pulleys to get them, because everybody's setup is going to be different. So we're working on some spacers that's going to come with the setup and with the kit that you can space your pulleys back and forth off of the bracket in order to get your preferred spacing on the belt and how the belt is on your serpentine system. So I'm going to show you a little bit here. I have you on the tripod, so it's going to be a little goofy looking. But here is the superchargers for Double Trouble. And there is, you can see if I can get that in the frame there. There are the brackets. This is exactly how they're going to come to you guys. Gaskets, brackets. I do have bolts for the countersunk holes. Down here is where your intake, these holes here are where your intake is going to, where these plates are going to bolt down to the heads. Supercharger bolts here. I did go and get, now this is for your fuel lines. So this here, everything's probably in reverse. 1/2 inch inner diameter by 3/8 MIP. And then you got a 3/8 inner diameter to 3/8 FIP. And you're going to need some thread tape. I got 3 feet of each. So I got 3 feet of 3/8 fuel hose and 3/8 of 1/2 inch fuel line hose. You're going to need 8 hose clamps. O'Reilly's only had 6 in stock, but it's okay. I've got a couple floating around. So basically, what we're dealing with here right now is this right here. I know you guys are probably thinking, well, what the hell? Where's part 2 of the Hellcat front end conversion, or 15 to 20 front end conversion? This is not finished, guys. This is just literally sitting on here. I have maybe 1 or 2 bolts holding it in a zip tie or 2. That's just for now, so I can actually have the car parked outside and not have my neighbors or anybody on my ass about it. But, so this is what we're starting with. Okay, this is how it's been sitting forever. You are going to have to remove the windshield cowling here. So that involves you're going to have to remove your wiper arms. Those are 13mm nuts. You wiggle them, they pop off. You've got a bunch of push clips along top. You pop those. That whole trim panel piece comes right off. Then you've got 2 13mm bolts on either side of the upper support brace here. And you're going to have to pop this connection here off. It's just one of those little Christmas tree clips. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab it from the bottom, because it also holds the wiper transmission in place too. You're going to grab it from the bottom, rotate back, and pull out, because that piece has to come off in order for the supercharger to physically bolt down, for you to be able to get this very back bolt over here bolted into the car. And that's on anything. That's on a Charger, Challenger 300, wherever you're doing this, that has to come off. There's no way around it. As far as putting that back on, I think I might run into an issue with clearance on that final bolt. If I do, I'll address it then. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do about it. I've contemplated putting a notch in this bar and then welding a little support brace in there. I've contemplated just taking a ball peen hammer and tapping it a little bit to give it a ding so it can bolt down properly. I don't know. We'll see though. And basically what I'm going to do is the Hellcat supercharger is going to go on, and we are going to leave the 5.7 valve covers on for now. I'm not going to run this motor too much because, and please, if you guys are doing this, don't run it too much. Let me set this tripod down and I will explain why. The reason I'm telling you guys do not run this too much is it will build up crankcase pressure, and it does not take long. I'm actually going to, I have a set of aluminum valve covers that I will be modifying. Probably going to be in this video and in here. And what I'm going to do here, let me get that light out of the way. And what I'm going to do here is, for the time being, for a PCV system, I'm going to drill into the center high of those valve covers, and I'll show you what that is in a second. And I'm going to be putting a rubber grommet in and a normal PCV valve in. I'm going to run it, I'm just going to run 90-degree elbows off of them. I'm going to branch them in together, and I'm going to run them off to a catch can. That's the best, that's the absolute best way to do it, and that's the safest way. It's going to be a little bit of trial and error. We're both going to be going through this together. Like I said, now I'm going to get into the disassembly of this, and I'm just going to get to it. Alright guys, so I stopped the time lapse there. I've got some things that I'm gonna do. I just wanted to show you exactly what I've done here with the fuel lines. So what I've done is I just went to Home Depot. And trust me guys, this stuff actually works. And I got a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter. Used thread pipe tape. It's 3/8 fuel hose. I am gonna be doubling up on these hose clamps, but for now this is just for some testing. This is a 1/2 inch fuel line quick disconnect for the Hellcat supercharger. Now it's gonna depend because they make two styles of fuel rails for the Hellcat supercharger. It depends on the one you get. This Demon unit, if you look back here, the connection branches off to the back. The Hellcat unit, it branches off to the side. So, and I will push this thing and get it off here, and I'll provide a link to these, or at least a part number. These are, as far as I know, you can only get these online. They have to be ordered in. These are like 19 bucks a piece. I ordered 2 of them, obviously, and they literally just, like, there they are right here, and boom, they snap on. They don't come back off. Basically, it's self-explanatory. I really don't have to explain any more than that. So what I got to do next is I might do a hyperlapse on it. I might not. You have to cut your timing cover. You have to cut this stud off your timing cover. So this line right here, how it does and then kicks up, you have to cut across here. You got to be careful not to get into the timing cover of the water pump. So I probably will end up doing the time lapse on that. I'm just gonna have to go and find some stuff to stuff into the cylinder head holes. You gotta plug these up. Don't let metal get in there. What I would recommend doing is getting microfiber towels and wetting them down like this. Basically, it's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna take some microfiber towels. I'm gonna spray them down with just some soap and water. And I'm going to stuff each one with one microfiber towel. You can get a pack of like 20 of these for 10-15 bucks at O'Reilly's. It's worth it. I use them all the time. And they're washable. I've washed those probably 20 times. So, alright, I'm going to set you guys back up here. I'm going to get a time lapse going. Okay, guys. So this is why you want to block off your intake ports. Look at all this aluminum right here. Look at that. That's why you want to block off your intake ports. You do not want that getting down into your engine. My best solution to you guys for removing all of this is blowgun. Okay, fire your air compressor up, blow whatever you can out, and then just make sure before you remove those rags, you soak down the tops of all those, and when you remove them, you do it in quick jerks to make sure nothing falls into the intake. But this is what you're cutting off here. This right here. So this was on there. It's like that. Now you're not going to be able to get 100% of this cut through without, getting into the timing cover. So what I always do, I'll cut, and it's always this center support here that's a pain in the nuts. I actually cut most of what I can off. And as you've seen in the time lapse, I took a screwdriver and a rubber mallet, wedge it through the side over here, give it a couple of good whacks. Don't go crazy with it. If it doesn't come off within like 3 or 4 good little smacks, cut a little more. And it pops right off. And then I took the grinder and I cleaned it up a little better because I don't want it being all jagged and stuff. I want this to, over time, once it oxidizes a little bit like the timing cover, I want all this to blend in. So, I'll put you guys back on a time lapse and we're going to get back to it. Okay, guys, so we got it bolted down. I've got all the basic stuff hooked up for now. We are going to do a first start, but what we're going to do, we're not going to have the supercharger pulley hooked up yet. This is just going to be just to see if it'll run, and this will be as an intake manifold for now. Like I said, I just want to see if it runs. Make sure I don't have any fuel leaks, because I don't want to get everything hooked back up and realize I'm spraying fuel out of the back of the engine. So I'm going to hook the fuel pump relay back in. I'm going to prime the system a couple times, and I'm going to come out and I'm going to check and make sure I don't have any leaks. And if everything goes well, I'll hit the button and start. Okay, let's check for leaks. So far, so good. We're all dry. So, I'm going to do one more thing before we actually start this engine. have a Hellcat airbox up here that I'm going to put on there. For now, and this is just so it's not 100% unfiltered, as it, if it's, you know, if it does start up. I have no idea if it's going to run, but I guess we'll find out, huh? So that's all I'm going to run it. It runs. I'm happy about that. I don't want to build up too much crankcase pressure with it right now. I don't have the vented valve covers on it. So that's where I'm going to end this video. And, well guys, I can't wait for part 2. I know you can't.